How can I buy my first investment or development property? A question that I'm frequently asked. There may be many of you who are thinking to buy an additional property as an investment or as a development or as a buy, rent, renovate, refinance and rent. Which way should you enter the market? What should you do? There are so many options. There's build to rent, buy to let, rent to rent, lease options, purchase options. There are so many ways that you can actually invest in property. But what if you don't actually have a large enough deposit? Obviously, if you have no deposit and no assets, then your first step needs to be to actually get that money together, which I'll cover different ideas in future videos. But let's, for the sake of argument, say that you have some money but not quite enough. You have some equity in your house but you don't want to remortgage, or you're on a tied deal, or you don't want to sell your property, whatever the case may be. It can still be done. Here's an example with some clients I had, I think about 18 months ago now. They were selling their property. I had a buyer for them and they were buying a property to renovate, to move into. It was a beautiful rundown property, but it would have made a stunning home. The sale of their property fell down, and it looked like they were going to lose the property that they were going to buy, and they were heartbroken. So I spoke to the broker, ran some ideas with him, or run them by him rather, got his opinion on if it were viable. I went back to my sellers and I put it to them that what we could do is we could raise what they needed with a charge on their existing home plus what they had. They could then buy the property that they intended to buy with development finance. We agreed it on a 6-month roll-up, which meant that they would not have to pay anything monthly, but they would pay the interest at the end of the 6 months, so that they had some breathing space. They began working on that property and got it not completed but habitable within their time frame. In the meantime, the pressure was off myself for an urgent sale, which actually meant that in the end I got them a much higher price than the one that fell down. Sold their property, paid off their development finance and exited to a residential mortgage, because by that time the property they were moving into was habitable. Although it was not completed, it qualified. Everything that needed to be done was done. And because they had got extra on their existing home, the finance that they needed to be able to achieve this actually cost them nothing, because the extra on their home paid the interest. The same could be applied if you wanted to buy an additional property. If you have some equity in your home, it is possible to raise the money against your existing home purely temporarily, to put that towards another property. And once again, whether you buy that on your own name or on an SPV is a topic for another video, which I will cover, and it can make a big difference in what you can do with it or how it will work for you. You can then get development finance to improve the additional property, and development finance you can actually get development finance up to 100%, but normally it's 80 to 90% of the development costs, but it's paid in stages and it's paid in arrears, so you need to budget for that. You can then either exit to buy to let if you're going to rent it out, or you can literally extend your term if you have an interested party to sell the property, depending on what you want to do. So there are many options. I will cover these options one by one. If you have any thoughts about doing anything like this and you'd like to get ideas on a strategy or what will work best for you, feel free once again to contact me anytime. I can offer you some suggestions, but in terms of actual definitive financial advice, I have to refer you to a professional. I'm not allowed to do that. I can only put suggestions to you and strategies to you and my thoughts and experiences, but the actual professional advice has to come from obviously an FC registered advisor, which if you have one, that's fine, because I can give you some suggestions and you can go back to your advisor and then you can see what they can do for you. If you don't have an advisor, I'm always happy to put you in touch with people who I know are specialists in this sort of finance. As always, if you have any questions, email me. My email is at the bottom of this video, and I will see you next time.